Hello, everyone. Hi, and welcome to Down the Rabbit Hole with myself, ASHALA Yardley, and my dear daughter, Crystal Yardley.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Crystal.
We are live. Welcome.
Here we go, down the rabbit hole.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to Earth Dragon, Lupo, Green Mountain Girl. Hey, you're so welcome. Blessings, and our hearts are with you and your daughter. Absolutely. Thank you for being here.
So people are tuning in and referring to personal card pulls that Crystal did for them over on her Beyond Karma show. So how is that going, Crystal?
Oh, it's excellent. It's so beautiful. It's so wonderful to get to tune in with all of you and get the chance to get to know you a little better, and love how everyone comes together in the chats and supports each other. The opportunities to be somewhat vulnerable with your closer to home questions, and it's an honor to be tuning in with all of you and getting to pull some cards, do some deep diving.
Yeah, totally.
And here we get to be together.
Absolutely. And you know, it's interesting. I've met many of you. I've done personal sessions with many of you over the last few years, even before I joined the Beyond Mystic platform. Of course, I was connected through Janine to many of you prior to that, and you were coming to me for readings on my platform. So I just want to say this community has opened my heart, blown my mind. It's the caliber of high evolving, heart open, super conscious people who are committed to personal development and also, you know, really real, right? I can hear some of you saying, oh, no, that's not me, ASHALA. I'm like, I'm lucky to get myself off the couch. Yeah. But the humility and also the presence and the willingness to keep showing up, keep showing up for this incredible unfolding here on planet Earth. So this is our show where we go down the rabbit hole, as we've mentioned before, and we want to focus this week on silver as a concept, as a question. It's been up in, of course, the news. We've been hearing for such a very long time the importance of investing and really bringing strong quality of precious metals into our investment portfolios. And for some people, that's a really large amount of either gold and silver, actual precious metal, or stock. And for others, it's just dabbling, you know. Not all of us, including us, can't really afford to have a huge stockpile of precious metals, but it's been really, really lovely for us to get comfortable with treating precious metals as not only, you know, kind of, well, the precious rare metals that they are, but also a great gift to us in this community who are wanting to get off the old system grid and look at alternative new currencies going forward and really, yeah, just store our wealth in a really intelligent way.
So here we go.
Here we go.
Down the rabbit hole together. You are tuning in with us here live on Thursday on Beyond Mystic for the Down the Rabbit Hole show. And we're excited to be bringing our guides together with yours to do some deep diving into some pretty big topics.
Yeah, so this isn't the only topic. We're open to looking at all kinds of different questions today related to especially the deep dive type of questions. We just thought we would start off with silver because we've been hearing from a lot of you that you can't get silver in the US right now. We're all seeing the prices skyrocketing, and I think it's quite exciting. So we want to look into that a little bit more. We just actually came back from our own metals merchant locally and had a really great conversation with them about this. We still have access to silver here in Canada, so at least from our distributor. So, yeah, we're going to look into all of that. But before we do, I want to bring your attention to as well, you can find us here on the Beyond Mystic Consultations page. And KRISTAL has also been working with many of you over the last, well, I guess about year and a half or so. So before she came onto the Beyond Mystic platform, she was working with many of my former clients on our website. So also KRISTAL has had the opportunity to meet many of you and get to know you, and is also blown away.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every
Right?
time. Yes. So you can book consultations with us on beyondmystic.net, and I am now officially also offering half-hour sessions. And there are some slots slotted in there for you to be able to book those spots. So if you're interested, it is a really great time for us to be able to cover at least one question, if not a couple of different topics. So
yeah, like one major question, or if people have little questions, you can do some rapid fire card pulls on that. So it's not the same as the 1 hour where we get to do like a big picture overview. Well, you could choose to do that, but that's all you'd have time for if you chose to have the overview with KRISTAL in that 1 hour or in that half hour, or you could choose questions, one or the other.
Absolutely.
But it's an affordable price point, and I really encourage you to go on and check that out.
Check it out.
So
without further ado,
let's ask some questions about silver. And I'm going to pull the cards up and just see what we need to know today. What would be most helpful for us to know today?
So when I suggested that we cover this last week, one of the reasons why I suggested that, because I was really tuning in with, after speaking to some of my friends and speaking to some of my people, really tuning in with what is the frequency of silver and what is the spirit of silver asking for us to know about it. We are doing a lot of focusing on the value of it at this point and the price points of it. And I'm just wanting to tune in with the element itself and to know what we need to know about that.
Okay. Let's look at what do we need to know about silver. Absolutely.
Thank you. I'm going to make this bigger here. Let's see. We'll make the cards bigger. Greetings, everyone.
Spirit of silver. And, I've looked into this several times over the last few years. There was an incredible documentary I watched. It's called Empires of Silver. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. It covers so many aspects of the history of how silver has woven its way into the global currency marketplace. In fact, silver is responsible for starting the global economic exchange marketplace back in the 1500s. And it's all linked to China. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating documentary. And it does also show the incredible human cost of extracting silver, especially back in those times where so many people lost their lives, indigenous people that were enslaved to mine the silver for the Spanish in South America. And it was a very heavy karmic cost to pull all that silver out. And then China basically used that silver to establish themselves as a global superpower in trade and expansion in terms of influence at a global level. And then that kind of bit them in the behind after that, and they went through what's called the century of humiliation, because their citizens were basically tricked by the British into getting addicted to opium. It's a really long, convoluted story. It goes into, the commercial trade of tea and textiles, and then, how China basically didn't need anything from anyone else, and so they had all the goods, the tea, the silk, all the incredible textiles that Europe wanted, and Europe didn't have much to offer them back. And so that's where exploiting the silver from South America was used to finance this trade, this international trade system. And yeah, it's quite a history, and that is all based on silver. So there's a lot in this mineral that I feel it has some history that is relevant to what's happening right now.
Yes.
So let's have a
Yes.
look at this and see, just generally speaking, here's us. Interesting. This card, the Sun, which is a beautiful card. It's the best card in the tarot, by the way. And this is showing up as us. That means those of us listening, inquiring about what is the relevance of silver, what is the energy of the spirit of silver want to say to us. And it's a very golden looking card, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's a very positive card. So first thing I get is that we're being seen energetically by the spiritual elemental energies as being kind of heroes. Like, if anyone is going to have silver, I think silver wants it to be us that has it. It's the first thing I'm getting.
Yes,
Mhm.
interesting.
And what is it saying? Whoa, wow. Oh, wow. Again, another very fiery color.
Yes.
People often associate gold with the sun and silver with the moon. Isn't this interesting that silver is coming out, or this energy of silver is coming out really hot, like really fiery, and again, wants to be utilized, wants to be put into good use at this time. It's almost like it's been waiting for this time to be in our hands, to be used for really amazing purposes. Oh my gosh, look at that, Crystal. This is the recent past. So this is us,
Yes.
the sun. What is silver? What is the energy of silver saying to us? King of Wands. Like, go for it. Just like the most fiery, courageous, charismatic, like putting the fire.
I have to say
under
about
us.
this too, because I was thinking about it earlier. I was speaking to someone the other day who was sharing with me that they are literally going out, and when they spend time interacting with people in public, they're handing out silver coins to them and educating them about the power of this metal and about the power of us as people collecting and exchanging precious metals as a new way forward. And that type of, she just loves the frequency of how it feels to share in that way. And she's interacting with people in her community in a whole different way. And this card came up around her, and I was talking about the reciprocity and generosity piece around it. And she was like, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going out and handing out these coins,
And look at this card. It's the only card in the tarot, people. We can't make this up. Look at this. It's the only one where there's actually coins. Do you see those coins falling from the hand of this apparently wealthy benefactor into the hands of the little people? Into the hands of the little people? Yeah. So silver wants to be put to use by us. If you want to call us the meek shall inherit the earth. Silver says, now is when I'm ready to be used, and I want to be spread amongst, this community that are ready to do extraordinary things and make good use of this energy. The scales are being balanced. And it was interesting when we talked to our merchant, he was saying how Crystal asked him, you know, what is your strategy with how you choose to, invest, and how did you know to invest in metals years and years and years ago? And what did he say? You remember what he said?
He said that he invested when everything dropped out.
Yeah, he said he went against
He
exactly
yes,
the
he wanted to do
opposite
exactly the opposite
of what everyone
was
else did. So
doing.
he said he was a
Mhm.
contrarian, and that he would do when the masses went this way, he would go that way. And he said over over the decades, he's probably in his 60s, he said it's really served him well, and that you know, there's a time and a season for all things.
Mhm.
And even if we've just saved a bit, we're part he was saying it's what did he say? Less than 3%, about 2.5%, according to their stats, of mainstream adults have silver. So few who've collected it, or gold, like precious metals, very, very few. So it's in the hands of these few for a reason.
Mhm.
And it's meant to not only like be well used by us, but it's meant to give us a leg up as we go through this time. This is amazing. I didn't think it was going to be
Fascinating.
so. Whoa, another really beautiful card. Four of Wands. So this is the recent past, and also true value. The true value coming around. It's about 60% is what I'm hearing of its true actual worth. It's got where it's at in the last week is at about 60%. So it's going to go up. Look at that, another 40%.
Yes.
It's going to keep rising over the next, is that 4 weeks or 4 months? Probably more like 4 months, but boy, we're going to see it
Keep on going.
keep on going.
Yeah.
And that was, he also said that, he said, we're not there yet, because he said he's watched these highs and lows of so many different things.
Yeah, I wonder if it might stabilize for another 4 months and then or might grow for another 4 months and then stabilize for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Right? And then it's going to hold at that.
2 fours.
It'll hold. Look at that, another pentacle.
Yes.
So in about 4 months, and then it'll hold at that price for maybe even a number of years. And it's a stabilizing. Another thing, somebody I was following, who's not really, he's not educating about precious metals. He's talking about other things, but I really admire this person. And he was saying, it's interesting having actual coins that you could, if you were transported time travel back to like, some market in the Middle East or something, 5,000 years ago, 8,000 years ago, you could walk into that market with your coin and buy something with it.
Mhm.
Like they'd look at it and be like, oh, that's weird. Like, what the heck is that on there? But you could actually purchase something with that, and you could probably go forward 4 to 8,000 years and walk into a market and purchase something with that same coin. Like, it's timeless. It's outside of time. Its value is beyond market value. So that's interesting. Now, what is our advice? Two of Swords. So this is really for us to not panic, okay, and not to sell. We're meant to hold that metal over the rough time.
Yes.
So, beware of converting it back into cash. If possible, use it to direct exchange for goods and services, like use it to actually, I've heard of people literally buying their homes with it or their vehicles with it. So use it sparingly, use it for actual real value exchange.
Mhm.
And if possible, don't fall for this, temptation to cash it in and turn it back into cash, because we could be very disappointed. And I did get, in a reading yesterday, I got a big message about next April, March and April of next year, that we could see a real big financial, I want to call it a dip, not a crash. And it's important not to just go and transfer. Yeah, especially not before then. So as it's growing right now, please resist the temptation to turn it all back into old world dollars, is what I'm hearing. Do you feel that? Do you see that there, Crystal?
It feels as though when we hit that stabilizing point, when we hit the top of the market, like you say, there's going to feel that we're in a crossroads. Then do I keep it? Do I sell it? Do I, now that I'm at the top of the market, and it does feel as though it would be best to hold on to at least 50% of it, right? At least half.
Correct.
Not to sell all of it at that price. Hold on to at least half of it. And if you go below that half, then it could feel disappointing for you. And not to let the fear of what's happening around you be the deciding factor of why you're selling or how you sell it. It's going to be more about it's this and better, something that is, I would love to pull even a couple more on what we look like we're meant to do with it when these energies come in.
It's really, to me, this is really about getting us over the shock and fear factor of a economic system that's going down, because there will be some panic around us, and to kind of ride through that and go, well, worst case scenario, I've got my metals, right? So before you start cashing them in, and it's even interesting, right? Because let's say, for example, everything changes with interest rates and mortgage rates and payments and all that kind of stuff. It might be tempting to be like, I'm just going to go cash in a lot of my metals and cover my expenses for the next 6 months. But, there are going to be other ways to navigate through this without using it as your insurance to get you out of trouble in the old system. Like, we kind of want to just ride through that old system. And if you need to miss payments on things because you don't have dollars, you have metals, and let's hold on to those metals, because that whole expectation around how things are going to go as the system shifts, you're not going to be the only one that is missing payments. Everyone's going to be missing payments. So, like, we've been given this leg up, not to just get us through, like, we've talked about this, right? We've been like, oh, well, if we can't, if there's no dollar exchange going on, we'll just spend our silver to pay our monthly expenses or whatever. And it's like, no, actually, we'll apply for whatever relief or whatever that everyone else does. Like, you know what I mean? We're going to work with what is on offer. We're not just going to immediately sell our metals to. Does that make sense, people? I hope that's making sense, because it feels like it's meant to give us peace of mind to get us over the shift, which could be several weeks. It could even go into a few months, but it's just the peace of mind. It's not actually meant to be spent, is what I'm hearing. Look at that. Yeah, it's the shift. Look at that. 2 10s. So we got the 10 of Swords. It's to help us transition away from the old system and feel safe and confident, to at least know we've got something in the larder, right? And if you're going to trade it for anything, trade it for good food that's grown locally from local producers or something. Not for your mortgage payments is what I'm hearing. Like, I'm not giving financial advice, but I'm just hearing that it's an invitation for us to feel that we've got security as we go through the transition.
Yes. Let's see about this here too. Is the price run up based on emotions, people wanting to get in, driving prices up?
Yeah, let's ask about that. That's what we've been hearing. Interesting. It's also, in a way, I do feel there's something bigger going on, which is silver saying, hey,
This is a whole new world here,
this is a whole new world, and it's time. It's the
Yes.
time for it to come back. It's bouncing back to real value is what it's doing.
Yes.
And it's bouncing back from the old system. And it's, interesting. I'm hearing it's always been the currency. Metals and precious stones have always been the currency of almost more the, well, not always, because obviously there were the people that were exploiting it, but at least in this last 100 years, I'm hearing that they've been the currency of the bandwidth of people that are awake, critical thinkers, builders of new earth, basically. It's our type of people that it's designed for, because we're the ones that went the opposite direction. We were the, what did he call himself? A contrarian? Like, we went contrary to the mainstream direction. We went against the grain at some point, and that's why we are here with some of this precious metal in our hands when other people are like, you guys are weirdos, you weirdo conspiracy theorists, right? It's like, and so it's been the reason, as you were saying, is it just because people are emotional and it's driving the price up? I think the price was already going up. And I think the fact that the price was already going up and bouncing back is because it's whatever's been holding it down is gone. That's what I'm being shown. And so it's naturally,
Yes, it's the invitation to step towards each of us really coming into our sovereign power. And the sovereign power that leads to this question here too. Where was it? How does one's wealth benefit mankind? The reason that silver is really wanting to work with us is because it's wanting to bring us into the frequency of it, which is what we were talking about, asking about in the first place, the frequency of it being a lot more about reciprocity and generosity. That is the essence of what the metal that silver is made of. So us working with it naturally brings us into more of that alignment with generosity and reciprocity. And when we are more in that alignment, it opens up these gateways in the world for us to really come together, for us to really be the wealth of one is the wealth of many. And it comes to then we magnetize more because we then want to share more. And that's the frequency of silver itself. That's what it's asking us to do with it. That's how it's asking us to really use it. And that's how we come into our true sovereign wealth at this time.
It's asking us to use it to claim our sovereignty outside of the broken slavery system, the deep state system. It's asking us to use it to help ourselves get free. And isn't it ironic that it became so, like, the guy was even that we were talking to, the merchant today, was telling us that when he started buying it in the 70s and it was like worthless practically, he was like, people would just ridicule him, and that it's that kind of energy of someone who goes, okay, there's more to this than meets the eye. There's something wrong with a system that doesn't acknowledge these precious metals, that's made artificial value over here and has got us looking away from where real value is. He said basically he knew to go this way because it was the opposite of what we were being told to do. And so you can almost say, in a way, the joke is on the controllers, because the ones that ended up going towards metals were the independent thinkers, were the outside of the box kind of people, the contrarians. And it feels like now it's bouncing back. It's gaining a lot of airtime, and even mainstream people are hearing about this now because two things, obviously, because of the state of the economy and the uncertainty of everything, which does create a demand for something that is more stable. But it's also, it feels like it's a design that was put in place for us to kind of win at this game.
Yes. Gold and silver are from the earth. And to the earth they shall return. This is the
So that's
Next.
a good point to say about this. How do we give back?
Yes.
And which is basically what John was asking too. How do we give back? If they are gifts from the earth, and that the way that this is all unfolded, they end up being in our hands more often, people like us, then, how do we give back and say thank you for that gift? And one of the first things I'm always brought to awareness of, I was just talking to a client, one of our community earlier today, and she was saying that she wants to use proceeds from her metals to set up community gardens and basically a regenerative agricultural project for her family, her children, grandchildren, and like have a beautiful big property and grow food, teach the little ones how to grow food. She was like, it's, here we are in a time where not only do children not know where food comes from, that it doesn't come from the grocery store. She said her grandkids, they just go sit in the car and the groceries get delivered right to the car, or sometimes right to their home. So talk about a disconnect between where your food is coming from and us, right? So she felt really passionate to bring nature and our natural relationship with the earth and growing our food. She felt really compelled to use her proceeds for that. And I think there's a great example of giving back to the earth and not just being these takers. Okay, we'll take all the silver and then we'll take everything else and we'll just hoard it. How do we give back? By making the earth more beautiful. Ideas, Crystal?
I'm curious to see about what it says about how we give back. How do we have communion with this metal? We call these precious metals because it seems to be what we're calling them, what makes them precious to us, and how do we interact with that which is precious?
From what I know from past research, what makes them precious is that they're more rare than other minerals, right? They're more rare than other metals. For example, more rare than copper, more rare than tin, more rare than lead or whatever. So, or steel. They're precious because they're more rare. Okay, so here, this is very different. We're asking, what do we need to know to give back, to say thank you? This is us the opposite, almost the most opposite card to that sun. That sun was all warm and open and expansive and generous. This is angry, attacking. This knight is on a mission to like tear something down. So maybe our approach, that a lot of us are on this rampage, you know, we're angry at the system, we're angry at the sleepers. It feels like that might not be the most respectful way to work with these metals. And oh, interesting. Huh. This is as though we were just going to focus on what can we do with this? Like, how do I get to use this? What do I get out of this? Right? It's this is the angry, gimme what I want, and what do I get to do with it? I'm entitled to this. This is actually sitting with it in your home, holding it over months and years, and just getting comfortable with it being there and not doing something with it. Like it's there almost as your companion, your friend to call on in a time of need, but you're not. Is that making sense? Because this one is like, well, for one, you know, he turns it into a weapon. This is all about slow down, meditate, contemplate, create some really amazing use for this, make it into something beautiful. I always see these swords as the 3 silver ones and the 1 gold one. And I've often said silver is meant to be exchanged and spent. So spend your silver and hold your gold. But I do see
Only
here,
spend half your silver though.
right? I do see here that it's also meant to not just be spent automatically. And we've also been trained in a system where you put your money in the bank and you walk away and you don't look at it. If you're not like, it's a number on a piece of paper. I think when we actually have our wealth close to us in our home, it affects us differently.
I'd love to see what else is coming up.
Yeah.
All the swords.
All the swords. All the metal. All the metal. Swords are the element of metal, the element of air and metal. Oh, another sword. Yeah. How can we give back? By not using this to make more war, make more hurt, make more ego, make more extreme shortcut, you know, to use this to give us peace of mind and give us a rest from that horrible slavery system.
From that warring system.
Yeah, look at. We can give back by not treating it the way we did money. Whoa.
Where we're not all fighting over it. We can't all fight over this. We're already heading into these battles about it, and spend time with it. Wow. So many swords.
So many swords. And it's saying that what it gives us is time to recover ourselves, to come back into our hearts. I don't know that we can actually answer what we're meant to do to give back at this time, because it feels like we can't think outside of the old slavery system. We're still in it, but give ourselves the dignity to take a few years to let all that unwind out of us. And then we're going to have the most amazing, innovative ideas of how to utilize this, strategize
in our own system,
our own community alternative currency exchanges, and that we're actually going to be exchanging silver among other transitional currencies with each other for goods and services, for example. So it's interesting that it's not saying,
I mean, it's also interesting how it is being utilized in so many ways for electronics, for medical devices. So it feels like there is an aspect of it where it is being misused to a certain extent, with all of its use of going into that which feeds the mind, and more so we're meant to take it into that which feeds the heart and the new system going forward. So we are going to be re-strategizing what to do with it. And that another 4 around this, we're now at our third four around how to work with this precious metal. And a lot of that is around stabilizing it, holding it, and really waiting it out.
I see this question around this Knight of Swords. Is the white around it a dragon, or is it clouds? It is technically jagged clouds, but there is that dragon type of energy there. And when I think of the dragon, I think, among other things, that it is that hoarding mentality. It is that part of us that wants to, like, greedily grab everything we can and hoard it away. And so it feels as though, I mean, tell me what you all think, but it's almost like the more we have it in our possession, its frequency doesn't let us treat it like that. Like, I know, for example, the first few years that I had my silver, it was kind of like, it felt like, oh yeah, there's my silver. It's in the whatever, wherever it's hidden. And it's kind of like, that's my safe, or that's my personal bank. It doesn't feel like that anymore to me. It feels like it's like a guest or something. It's like, okay, and even I don't even call it silver anymore. I call it my precious metal. It's like, it is sort of like this sacred thing. And when I open up the tubes and pull out the coins and look at them, they're just so awe-inspiring.
Yes.
They're really beautiful.
Stunning, right?
They're stunning.
Yes. And Amanda here is commenting, getting some silver today. We have silver mines in Australia. Yay, makes me even happy and even joyful. And that's how we're meant to feel about it. This is how we're meant to feel. I mean, how many times yes, we do feel happy and joyful when we're like, oh, we got an extra amount of money to put in the bank or something like that. Absolutely. And at the same time, there's something that is a much more earthly connection to the going and gathering of these metals that are truly precious to us, and that are something that we can actually energetically align with.
Okay, this is my last question I want to ask about this, and then we'll move on to another topic. I want to ask about mining going forward, because we know all the very violent extraction techniques, both violent to land and life forms. And how does silver does it want to be mined anymore? Do we have enough that is out of the ground and into jewelry and vaults and silver bars? And
Amlo had said that we were just talking about the Indigenous Americans, the first mass murderers recorded. I mean, in this Empires of Silver documentary that we were watching, what were they saying? That you could build the bridges
You could go from Spain to Peru. You could
build a bridge from
Spain
Spain to
to
Peru
Peru.
in silver.
From the silver
From
they
the silver that they
extracted
mined, and a bridge coming back from the bones of the miners who had died collecting it.
Yeah.
Pretty big stuff for us to be working with. Really powerful energy that is attached to the collection of this metal.
Mhm. All of the metals, right?
Mhm.
All of these mining industries. I noticed that John is saying, yeah, that his father was a miner and had lung cancer, and you know, there's a heavy toll that we pay to extract. And is there a different way? Is there some new way that these metals want to come into alignment with us? What do we do to remove the karma from the metals that have already been extracted? And how do we go forward with any sort of extraction in the future? I'm going to ask that as two questions. I'm going to do, how do we work with the karma of the metals that we already have? And how do we go forward below it? So, okay. I feel like acknowledging it, talking about this, discussing it, and bringing it out in the open, and recognizing the destructiveness. Also, I feel like remelting it and turning it into something beautiful. Like when we do something, when we use our hands to fashion it into something beautiful, it changes the frequency. It's almost like that, what they say about, you know, water. When you freeze water, it changes the frequency. When it's melted again, you can program it with new energy. So it's almost like by melting it down and refashioning it into something. For example, a lot of those coins are stamped with the insignia of the ruling classes and the controllers that actually created all this devastation through greed. So it's got that karma because it's got that stamp on it. Like literally what we put on them, what we make them into, what we make this liquid metal into, can heal the karma of what happened with it.
Yeah.
And then how do we go forward? What sort of extraction? Oh. Huh. Okay, well, this is interesting. It's I'm not sure about this, but it feels as though, like, for example, when we watched that documentary, Empires of Silver, by the way, is what it's called. It's like a 2 or 3 part documentary.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah. When we watched that, it was described how they found this most prolific silver mine in the world in this mountain in Peru. And it was discovered by these like shepherds with llamas up in the mountains. And one of the llamas went and like hid up in the mountains somewhere. And then they they were out there looking for it, and they had to build a fire to stay warm. And in the morning, they woke up and there were all these little silver streams coming down from the fire. And they were like, oh, this is a magic place. Like they called it a magic mountain because the fire made silver streams come out of it. So they saw that it was magical. And it seems as though when minerals want to be found, they will literally, like there will be like some volcanic activity, or like a kid will be out wandering and find it'll happen whimsically like that when it wants to be found. But it's sort of like you can't demand it all the time. It's like when the time is right, it'll come to the surface, is what I'm hearing. But we shouldn't go digging for it. So let's say there was an earth change and all of a sudden all these rocks were uncovered. Let's say there was an earthquake or a volcanic eruption and the aftermath of that, in all the tragedy, all of this incredible metal, precious metal was discovered. It's almost saying, wait for it to show
come
itself.
to you.
Yeah.
And yet, at this point, that's not going to happen. So how do we honor and work with it at this point in our reality?
If we take it by force without
Mhm.
permission, and the permission is kind of like what I was saying then, where it will show itself when it's ready to be shared, and it'll show itself to who it wants to go with. And if we go in and steal it for selfish purposes, it will become toxic to those who take it.
So, and what if the miners are taking it because they need to have the jobs to survive?
This is exactly it.
So they are paying the price with their lives, with their bodies. And
that creates a karmic spin that's going to come back around and play itself out even more.
So how do we, as the purchasers of these metals, how do we work with that energy to honor the lives of these people and the hard work that they're putting in as the collectors of this precious metal to get it out into the world? Yeah, I would pull a few more on that if you could.
3 on that.
Yeah.
Again, it's about patience. It's about waiting for the time.
Yes.
And suddenly it appears.
Okay.
Waiting.
Yeah.
Good things come to those who wait. So, being in the right place at the right time, and we're going to start to see more and more of this medicine and magic with currency, and I don't even want to use the word money, with value exchange on this planet. We're going to start to see extraordinary synchronicities where things just line up. Deals are made in really positive ways. Win-win-win solutions come into easy synchronization. So how we work with our metals is going to be part of that. It's going to train us to look at, there's that same card again. Exact same card, Crystal.
Yes, exactly.
Another 4.
Yes.
And the 4s are about, like, not getting in over your head, not going for more than what you need, not so at some point there's that.
It's almost, I'm getting something funny here, almost like a silver likes to be displayed, and
gold likes to be hidden.
Gold likes to be hidden. It's like hide your gold under the ground and tuck it away, but silver wants to be seen. So having some, like the way that we wear it, I got my silver earrings on today, my silver jewelry. Silver likes to be shown off a bit. Wow. And for us to not just hoard it away at the same time, but for us to display it as a true honor that it is to be collectors and holders of this precious metal. And the way that we obviously, we're not going to be just leaving our silver out laying around, but maybe there is, a certain percentage of it that we're going to invest in, a certain amount of silver that we're going to invest in to be able to decorate ourselves or decorate our homes, or our precious, our silver cutlery, precious silver
candlesticks.
Yeah, stuff like that. It likes to be displayed and honored in that way, not just.
And gold likes to be hidden in the
gold
chest.
Likes to be hidden away.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, we managed to fill up almost a whole hour talking about this. Do we have any other questions that we can?
Yeah, there was one that was an entirely different topic here.
All right, let's see how far down the rabbit hole we can go in.
Okay, how about this? This is not entirely a different topic, but it was the next one that came up. So, why do we pay to live on a planet we were born on?
Okay.
Just saying.
Well, I think the question isn't why do we pay, it's who do we pay?
Also, I mean,
Well, because
why do we pay
let's
for the planet that we live on?
let's talk about this for a minute. In the spiritual traditions that I've worked with and been trained in, we have a debt when we come to this earth. Everything, so much dies that we can live, that we can eat and clothe ourselves and have shelter. Things are utilized by us in order that we can have our needs met here on earth. We don't come here and need nothing from any being. We come here, naked, vulnerable, hungry, and we need a lot and we consume a lot. And so there is a payment. We don't owe to a person. We want to, I want to say, not pay back, but pay forward for all that we utilize, that we wouldn't be able to survive here without so many things that the natural world gives us generously.
So, and then, Lightworker clarifies, why do we have to pay? And as you said, who are we paying it to?
Yeah, and what do we pay?
And what do we pay?
Like, what is real payment for the gift of life? For the gift.
So, what do we need to know about
payment
to live this life?
Yeah, and
this is actually one of my beloveds. Her daughter was asking, like, Mom, why do we have to pay for all of these things when we come here as people? Like, what is that about? Why are we paying all this money to live?
Yeah. So in our contribution, in our natural way is to contribute and give back more than what we take. That's our natural innate instinct, is to give back more than what we take. And then that generosity is paying it forward. It's like that thing that you did, Crystal. You did that one on the on your Good News show. You did the one about that restaurant, the Karma Cafe, where you pay for the meal of the next person. So it's there's always something paid for when you get there. So your ancestors did more than what they needed to so that you could come, and let's say you have a disability and you can't function very well, you don't have to pay. But everybody wants to contribute more than what they take. And when we go into a system like that, it flourishes. Life on this planet flourishes. Everything flourishes. That got disrupted, and we got disconnected from that natural currency of the contributionism and reciprocity and generosity. And okay, now the way that we've been tricked into paying, it's like it's a game. It's kind of like we've been tricked to not go directly to source, but go to a middleman, right? It's like the middleman is saying, we have what you need, get it from us. However, the middleman, and that's the nanny state, right? That basically feeds us and provides for us and does all these things, makes it easy by all of this exploitive resource extraction and human labor exploitation, makes it easy for us to live as consumers and not have to do a lot to benefit in all of these different ways. We don't have to make our own clothes. We don't have to grow our own food. We don't have to make our shelter. Um, but this middleman energy didn't come with that generosity. It actually came in stealing things and not giving anything back and making us pay for it. So there's a system breakdown here. We went, instead of going to source for what we need, we went to a middleman.
Yes. And now we're not so happy with the middleman anymore. We were just talking last night. We went to buy a few of the things from a few of the stores that we normally buy those things from, and it just feels like everything at those stores is now just such poor quality.
Garbage.
And again, we're put into this position of going, for one, we're feeling that we find better quality things from thrift stores, you know, and for two, we're like, do we need to start making these things for ourselves again? So we've kind of come to this point where we're starting to reevaluate, well, what do we really have to pay for? And what can we create? And what can we exchange? And what holds true value to us? What is true wealth? What is the real dream here? Notice how the question is, why do we pay to live on this planet? Why do we have to? And there's no pentacles here at all.
Yeah, we don't
isn't
actually have to
about
pay.
money.
It's about energy exchange. It's about, and again, we don't pay, we play, and we play it forward. We give because it's a delight to do that. It's a joy to exchange and be generous. And again, like I said, isn't it interesting that we lived for eons? And I always find it so fascinating that they make it sound like we were just these thug-headed Neanderthals that were out like killing everything that moved and starving and feeding ourselves. And I don't buy that. I find that really offensive because I think it's a pretty extraordinarily ingenious species that when you go back and look at the older and older artifacts from our past, from these primitive people, their handwork is absolutely exquisite works of art that would rival, like, anything from the Renaissance in Italy. Like they're extraordinary gifts with their hands. What they could create out of nothing. Like
we saw that with Amanda here is saying, watching from the beginning of Empires of Silver. Thank you for checking it out. You won't be disappointed. And in that show, first episode, some of the almost magical things that they create. Some of it was for, what was the
Catherine the Great, the Russian empress.
Yes,
I think it was Catherine
wedding
the Great.
gift for her.
Yeah,
it was just like the most
intricate, woven,
like little silver hairs all woven together into these just absolutely next to magical, stunning
and
creations.
gems and all kinds of things. And what technology they had to do that. They didn't have machinery and robots. It was like literally hammers and anvils and like little tiny jewelry making tools, everything handmade. We're talking, this was back, hundreds of years ago. It's like, it's astonishing how ingenious our ancient ancestors were with their hands. They didn't just function, they didn't just survive. So that's where we come from. And we got down a rabbit hole. Talk about a rabbit hole.
We got sideways.
Totally led off the garden path here, down the garden path, off the actual real path. And now we're finding our way back there. What was the purpose of that? How did that benefit us? One thing that we discovered is that there are things that we can do, like we individuated so far off and became very self-aware during that process. But we also lost huge parts of ourselves and lost our connection to source.
And I'm hearing something with this too, because I quite often see this card as the world is our oyster. Same with the Two of Wands, right? And when I was feeling into that, feeling also when you watch the beginning of Empires of Silver and you discover that there's so much fighting over this element, this metal, imagine what we could do if we actually worked together for it. Imagine what we could do with it if we actually shared it amongst countries rather than fought over it. What is the difference there? You're still exchanging it for something. Why are we fighting over it when we could be actually uniting over it and making peaceful trade deals around it? But we need to start, again, I preach about this, but we need to start from that frequency in ourselves. Lupo says here, health is our wealth, and it's our mental and our physical well-being that we start in, and start that in our families, in our communities, and then out into the bigger world. And that ripples out, and that is how we change the system of payment going forward. So let's stop fighting over this and let's actually unite the world around things like, and that's something where I feel like, let's do this exchange, this working with this precious metal, with this silver differently than we have before. We can start to choose that amongst ourselves.
And I have seen many new currencies, many new exchange systems coming into effect in the next couple of decades. It won't just be crypto. It won't just be precious metals. There will be many different systems that are beautiful and have extraordinary, ingenious designs. Everything from good old-fashioned straight up bartering to really sophisticated systems of exchange. But almost all of it is based on this idea that we're getting back into the frequency of giving before something is taken from us. So it isn't about, we don't have to pay, but to live here is a relational journey. We come here and immediately we take from what's here. So it's just so rude to not exchange and give back. But who are we giving it to? Right? We want to give back to what we take from, not from the middleman.
Amanda says, this ends with us. We are the manifestors, and we are the beings that change our reality from the inside out, as silver seems to be our magic blessing wand.
Well said.
Well said.
Yeah.
Good rabbit hole, ladies and chatsters.
Right?
We did it.
Yeah. You never know. We just never know.
said.
We talk a little bit before and we're like, well, we can talk about this. We can look at this.
Well, no, this is the point, right? This is why we come to the down the rabbit hole, because we wanted to give you a chance to join into our down the rabbit hole chats, which are not too planned out ever. They can't be, because there needs to be that room for the flow, the openness, the expansion, and the possibility of, you never know what's going to come through. Yes, so that was fun.
It always is. It always is.
Before we head out,
we're going to share.
Yeah, we're going to remind you all that you can book a consultation with ASHALA, Mom, and myself on beyondmystic.net. And a couple of promos coming up. The crypto bundle levels 1, 2, and 3 is now 50% off using code crypto50. Valid until October 19th. 3 days, people. 3 days to get out there and get it, as well as
Red
your
October.
Red October 50% off Insider Access Pass using code AIP50. And
IAP.
Yeah. My apologies. I am a slightly dyslexic, and it's part of what makes me so special. You have been tuning into us with Down the Rabbit Hole every Thursday,
Every
as
Thursday.
long as we can make it.
Looking forward to the next
Thanks
one.
for being here, everyone.
Bring your ideas, and we don't have anything planned yet, but we may surprise you with something. Have a
Until next
beautiful
time,
week.
blessings, everyone.
Bye for now.